Hello, dear friends. Opinion piece. Power vacuum. It's all getting very confusing. There has been a change of comment. They will try to keep us scared. Humankind would have won the war. The goal is to keep us from asking questions. Things are about to get crazier. The locking paradigm is collapsing. Things will unravel relatively quickly. It will take a while to see the effects of change. There is a fragile balance between different contending groups. Everything will seem chaotic until the revelations arrive. We will perceive those interested in benefiting themselves. Let's start. Haven't you sensed a power vacuum in the world as geopolitics get crazier by the day? This intuition is not only confirmed by the signs and signals that appear every day in the official news as the paradigm of the single thought crumbles, but it is also confirmed by some channeled messages. But it will take some time to see everything clear. The paradigm of the blockade is collapsing. It has taken much longer than it should, but it finally seems to be happening. The signs are all around us. Although the daily news couldn't be more alarming, I have a feeling that the positive part of humankind is controlling this chaos, from the top to lead the people to a positive destination towards their liberation. But that all the current difficulties are tests that are putting us on the path to make a natural selection, and I am sorry to say that many have taken the wrong path. Definition. Power vacuum or acephaly is a term used in politics meaning the absence of command caused by the discredit of power and a fragile balance between different competing groups. In political science and political history, the term power vacuum is an analogy between a physical vacuum and the political condition when someone in place of power has lost control of something and another power has replaced it. The physical analogy suggests that in a power vacuum, other forces will tend to rush in to fill the vacuum as soon as it is created. A power vacuum can also occur after a constitutional crisis when the constitutional rights of the citizen are not respected. Message. According to the message from Sophia Love, there has been a change of command, a turnover of the hidden controllers. Those regressive beings who have been holding the controlling elements on the planet have, for the most part, left their posts. To a large extent, they have been expelled. Otherwise, their number have dwindled to what is too small to have any power, and those in command lack the moral authority or imagination to command. The new ones in command are human beings. They are not in all the places that were formerly commanded by the Dark Ones. Some of these places have been vacated. What this means can be linked to a ship running at full power without a captain, or a plane in full flight without a pilot. Certain automatic procedures had been established for such a scenario. They are intended as stopgap measures to cover things up for a moment until someone returns to drive. No one is going to back those places that are abandoned. In those cases where there are humans, they will not last long either, having no facilities or instruction for such a scenario. To summarize what it means, let me tell you that the hostile takeover of humankind has failed. Humanity has prevailed. Enough light, truth and love emerged from the race to overcome the darkness. This doesn't mean that you will immediately witness flags or surrender. and a visual power shift. However, now quickly you are about to witness the systemic failure of every extreme effort at control and the breakdown of control in every aspect of your world. Things will unravel relatively quickly now in your society. For those of you who are not aware of the hidden agenda, you will witness the public announcement of things you know and do not know. You will see the unraveling of situations that seemed unstoppable, things that include corporate control, political maneuvering, medical monopolies, and government overreach. You will notice some things just stop. You will notice others that don't look or sound the same. Facts will trickle in that will explain some of what is happening or has happened, that in many cases it will seem chaotic. Confusion. What will be very visible are the players. With the dark ones go, the ones left are the humans. Their efforts will soon become transparent. That is, you will see who was working for which side. Many who really worked for the benefit of humankind still seem to be against the human species. Will change subtly or in an obvious way. It will be very confusing. What is happening rapidly now is that with the dark ones go, the humans left in charge will give a last gasp effort to retain their imagined control and security. There will undoubtedly be an event of some sort, which will be quite visible. You have noticed the large number of shooters recently. These are some of those false flags events instigated by those who imagined themselves in charge at this time. All events occurring now in any public way are meant to keep you frightened. The goal is to keep you scared, so you won't ask questions. They are asking questions anyway, and almost insensitive to news of the shooters, since there are so many recently. Reveals. The real objectives and reasons for the events and actions are about to fall apart. Since no one is at the wheel, everything will seem a bit chaotic for a while until the revelations come. Once they do, you will get the sense that there has been a change. In fact, those wearing white hats will be in control at that point. You will see many strange and unusual events, announcements, and changes. You will witness a few final gasps of breath. You will notice in a very obvious way which humans are interested in benefiting only themselves and which are interested in helping humankind. These things will revolve around money and power. They will seem like extreme efforts of control and manipulation. There are many humans who are so into this that they see no other possibility for them other than more of the same. These humans have become clone efforts of the dark ones with an identical agenda. No one of these efforts will succeed. However, the drama of uncovering and stopping them has to unfold into the 3D arena. Cleanup. Primarily, military and government's hands will orchestrate the takedown and cleanup down now. I repeat the phrase. Primarily, military and government hands will orchestrate the takedown and cleanup now. What you will need are cool heads and direct light. Your efforts for energetic support and by visualization are the most important and necessary. It is this that will provide a sense of calm and peace to the new reality you are building. Do not waver in your efforts there, regardless of how things look publicly. You will witness some things publicly, not all. There will be enough release to alert humankind to the truth and change. Eventually, it will emerge in its entirety. It is a fluid situation, and changes are made to the process regularly. It is adjusted so that your success is assured. You can be assured that it is. So, patience is still necessary. Knowing the truth while visualizing what you most desire for humankind will be of great help now. This has become a human operation. As such, it is open to additional support from beyond the planet. Things could get very interesting in that area. That remains to be seen and is another topic for another day. For today, know that the tug of the Lords are gone. This is cause for celebration. You will now see things unfold and unravel quickly. This is a very exciting time which has never happened. Congratulations, dear human. You have taken control of your world. Geopolitics. Russia-Ukraine tension. The protracted conflict between Russia and Ukraine has flared up again, with huge Russian military deployments on the border. Russia has also closed the Kerch Strait in the Sea of Azov until October to foreign military vessels. The cost and logistics of concentrating this force means that Russia must take an imminent decision between saber rattling to achieve a political objective or a genuine military offensive. European Union Russia tension rises. European Union foreign ministers are once again expressing solidarity with Ukraine. The country is suffering the largest Russian military build-up on its border since the annexation of Crimea in 2014, something that European Union High Representative Josep Borrell believes it is a risk. 2 US missile destroyers started an unexpected advance towards Crimea. After a rather long stay in the water of the Black Sea, the 2 US missile destroyers USS Donald Cook and USS Roosevelt started a rapid advance toward the Black Sea and allegedly towards the Crimean Peninsula. The circumstances of the abrupt advance toward the Russian borders are still known. However, apparently this is due to the tension in the region. Risk of confrontation. For the first time in history, the US is facing both China and Russia, 2 powers with powerful nuclear capabilities. The head of the US Strategic Command, Charles Richard, exposed on his speech before the Senate Armed Services Committee on Tuesday. Putin warns West on harsh response if it crosses Russia's red lines. The president warned the West on Wednesday not to cross Russia's red lines, saying Moscow would respond swiftly and harshly to any provocation and would be regretted by those responsible. Indonesia searches for missing submarine with 53 people. Indonesia's military said Wednesday in its searching for one of its submarines, which went missing near the island of Bali with 53 people aboard. The Navy believes the vessel fell into a depression 700 meters deep. Explosion at Israeli Munitions factory. The explosion appears to have occurred during a routine test at the advanced weapons factory that houses several types of missiles. The factory is located in central Israel and near residential areas. Civilians documented a mushroom cloud. Economy. Royal Bank of Canada fell Friday. Canada's largest bank collapsed Friday after hours, dropping 64%. Canada's largest bank, Royal Bank of Canada, plunged 64% after hours Friday, without explanation. Customers in mass were blocked from accessing their accounts. It is rumored to be insolvent and has begun sizing customer bank deposits to remain solvent, and that Trudeau and Freeland will bail out the bank with their budget. China secretly buys gold. Chinese state-owned banks have quietly bought $180 billion in gold. China's net foreign exchange settlement increased last year, but the People's Bank of China's foreign exchange assets, which historically tracks settlement data, remained stable. The price of silver is manipulated. The price of silver today is half the level of January 1980. That was the $50 peak that silver reached again 31 years later in 2011. But unfortunately, the Valium banks, with the help of the Bank of International Settlements and the central banks, have managed to bring it back down, and today silver is only $26.10. The current price of silver has nothing to do with supply and demand. In a real market, the price of silver would be substantially higher. The banks are making unprecedented moves in our economy. Glenn says that the current moves by the big banks has never been made before, in an effort to maintain their profits despite the declining rate of lending. Millionaire investors hold cash. According to a new electronic trading survey, wealthy investors with at least $1 million in assets to invest are becoming less optimistic about the stocks in early April than they were in early 2021. Treasury bond bonanza. Wall Street's record-breaking bank bond offerings in recent days are being driven by a combination of extraordinary market conditions and regulatory decisions that hark back to government efforts to help overcome the crisis, analysts said. Basel Committee assumes banks are not used capital buffers. The Basel Committee on Banking Supervision believes that one of the possible explanations for why banks are not used the capital buffers released during the crisis is due to the negative stigma attached to their use by the market. This was stated by the chairman of the committee and governor of the Bank of Spain, Pablo Hernández de Cos, during his participation in an event organized by both Basel and the Deutsche Bundesbank. The capital buffer is understood as the total common equity necessary to meet the need for a certain amount of capital conservation. It is a minimum solvency requirement that must be met by credit institutions in a given territory and under certain conditions. It should be noted that the capital buffer created is of utmost importance for banks and for the country in general in which they operate. Its importance is of utmost importance for banks and for the country in general in which they operate. Its importance is due to the regulation, supervision, and solvency of credit institutions. Will 2021 be the year of inflation? Price indices around the world look set to rebound in the first few months of 2021. After a year marked by falling prices and with interest rates at record lows, the market's attention is now focused on a hypothetical return of inflation. We live in an age with absolutely no intellectual foundation, and great ideas are in short supply. According to Rabobank, which is really appropriate because we live in an age with absolutely no intellectual foundation, and although most people don't care to notice, once they are gone, everything else follows. Look around you and see that our beliefs about how we should manage everything, from ourselves and as individuals, our family relationships, our local communities, our political economy, our borders, our higher international architecture are constantly changing. According to J.P. Morgan, clients are increasingly nervous, fearing a market pullback in May or June. To the delight of bulls everywhere, the past month has been a relentless meltdown in stocks, commodities, cryptocurrencies, and paradoxically, over the past week, as we have been bombarded with stellar economic data. Treasuries as well. This dovetails with conversations with clients who, while expecting a solid earnings season, are increasingly concerned about a potential market pullback in May or June. Financial stress affects health. Financial stress occurs as a result of financial problems that generate anxiety and produce feelings of vulnerability or scarcity. A good control of finance is essential to prevent this type of stress and its possible negative effects of physical and mental health. US removes Switzerland and Vietnam from the list of currency manipulators. The United States has removed Switzerland and Vietnam from its so-called watch list of countries that manipulate the values of their currencies, but will continue in its engagement with this government and will initiate similar discussions with Taiwan on foreign exchange practices, the Treasury Department said. China bans one of the world's largest Bitcoin mining centers. Beijing ordered in Mongolia, one of its regions, to shut down all cryptocurrency mining operations and ban them going forward. It is trying to combat energy-intensive consumption and prevent financial decentralization. Bitcoin price plunge. The 15% drop of Bitcoin this Sunday capped an intense week of speculation in the cryptocurrency market by the dizzying rise of Dogecoin and Coinbase $86 billion Nasdaq listing. Spain. Spanish tax authorities join threats against cryptocurrencies. Spain's tax authorities have issued a warning against those holding digital currencies in the country, highlighting the application of substantial fines for failing to disclose the nature of such holdings. The Ministry of Finance has stated that digital holdings are considered taxable income by the authorities and that substantial penalties will be imposed on those who failed to disclose their digital assets. Self-consumption of energy takes off in Spain. Spain is one of the countries in Europe with the most hours of sunlight. Despite having a radiation of about 2,500 hours of sunshine per year, it was not until 2019 that legal changes came that allowed self-consumption to be profitable. During 2020, the fact of spending more time at home, teleworking or greater consent for savings are some of the factors that have also encouraged solar energy has opened a bigger gap within Spanish households, although we are behind other countries in our environment. A judge opens proceedings against several high-ranking government officials for the 8 Plus Ultra. The head of the 15th Court of Instructions of Madrid, Esperanza Collazos, has opened preliminary proceedings against the former chairman of the Sociedad Estatal de Participaciones Industriales and current vice-president of this organization, Mr. Bartolomé Lora, and against the members of the board of directors of this company in connection with an alleged embezzlement in the processing of the public aid received by the airline Plus Ultra. The IBEX 35 reaches 8,500 points at the close after rising 0.71%. The IBEX 35 ended Wednesday's session with a rise of 0.71%, which has taken the selective index to 8,520 points after yesterday's setback, a day which closed with a fall of 2.89%, the biggest fall suffered so far this year. The neighbors of a neighborhood in Bilbao say that more and more people are coming to take the products that the supermarkets leave in the containers, and that there have even been days when there have been fights over food. Who is killing the dolphins in Ceuta? A total of 11 dolphins and one pilot whale have been found dead, all with the same signs of violence. Ceuta Tibet's suspected Moroccan fishermen are behind their death. Europe. UK considers new central bank digital currency Bitcoin. The Financial Times reports that the UK is considering the creation of central bank digital currency. It commented that the aim would be to protect sterling against cryptocurrencies and improve the payments system. First European proposal to regulate artificial intelligence. Far from images of futuristic robots, artificial intelligence is behind many of the technologies we use today. This Wednesday, the European Commission presents its first legislative proposal on artificial intelligence, but it has been funding projects that integrate artificial intelligence for years. Germany announces it will be a country of bicycles. Germany, home to a powerful automobile industry, wants its citizens to spend less time driving a car and more time cycling to help save the planet. The German government on Wednesday announced a new national strategy to increase bicycle use and safety for cyclists by 2030. German Constitutional Court upholds legality of European Union Recovery Fund. Germany's Constitutional Court has cleared the way for the ratification and subsequent disbursement of the nearly 800 billion euros European Recovery Fund, with which the European Union wants to boost its economy in the wake of the health crisis after dismissing an appeal filed by a group of German citizens. Archbishop Bigano condemns Vatican meeting. Archbishop Bigano has strongly condemned a Vatican conference scheduled for next month. Among the attendees are some very controversial names. Ocean resort in search of solutions to treat diseases. The ocean is the cradle of life in our planet. Humans have known about the health benefits of the sea for centuries. Nowadays, scientists delve deeper, searching the ocean for cures to the most complicated diseases. In the Algarve, south of Portugal, famous for its stunning coastline, a Portuguese biotech company is trying to develop a non-opioid analgesic, a safe and effective remedy for chronic pain. U.S. Federal authorities to investigate Minneapolis police. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced Wednesday an investigation into the Minneapolis Police Department following the verdict against Derek Chauvin in the George Floyd death case. Vast swaths of America have now descended into a state of economic despair. Although the stock market has been booming and the corporate media is abuzz with talk of a recovery, There are many communities in the US where a permanent atmosphere of despair seems to hang in the air. US warns Israel against attacks on Iran. The United States has issued a rare warning to its closest ally in the Middle East, Israel, about its escalating actions against Iran amid talks in Vienna. Arizona sent troops to Mexico border to deal with migrant crisis. The state of Arizona announced the dispatch of military National Guard troops to the border with Mexico in the face of a massive increase in migrants. Americas, in plural. The winds are blowing in favor of wind energy. Brazil has already managed to get between the US and China in new wind energy projects, while Chile and Colombia are seen internationally as increasingly attractive markets. Argentina's first female fighter pilot. Her name is Maria Sofia Bier. She is 26-year-old and has a long career in the Argentine Air Force. Now, the lieutenant has become the first female fighter pilot in the country's history. Jalisco cartel new generation attacks police with explosive drones in the state of Michoacán. Suspected members of the Jalisco cartel new generation attacked Mexican police on Tuesday with 2 explosive drones near the town of Aguililla in the state of Michoacán, injuring 2 officers. Chilean deputies approved euthanasia for the elderly. Chile's Chamber of Deputies on Tuesday approved a bill to allow euthanasia and assisted suicide for those over the age of 18 in one of the most conservative countries in Latin America. The initiative will now be debated in the Senate. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.